Today, I've got an incredible guest for my show. To say that this guy's an overachiever when it comes to the sport of boxing is nothing short of an understatement. This guy has done it all. He has succeeded in the amateurs. He's succeeded in the pros. He has succeeded in the afterlife of fighting. Now as a trainer. The name is Bola Raymond Olubuwale. The Scoop. I'd like to welcome you, Troy, the Boss Ross. How you doing, my man?
Ray, I'm doing good. I'm happy to be on the show. This is awesome.
Yeah, I'm really appreciative that you took your time out, and finally I got you on the show. You're doing quite a bit. You're doing quite a bit. It's let's start from the beginning. How did you get into boxing first and foremost? Like I know your story, but
Okay,
for Fight
the,
Nation.
the story. My father, Charles Ross, he boxed in the Olympics in 1968. My dad, like you said, Ray, a great achiever, overachiever. He boxed in the 1968 Olympics for Guyana. Once they had enough money, came to Canada to give their family, their kids, a better life. 1982, I came to Canada. The family moved from Guyana to Canada, and that's where my boxing career started. My father was just teaching us. He set up pretty much the basement as a boxing gym, and that's where I started boxing. From the basement to and then starting to go around into gyms itself around Toronto and then just learning. And then I went to I think it was Atlas Boxing Club, and I remember seeing Mark Simmons there, and he had some fast hands. I wish I could box like Mark. I wanted to have the same kind of speed, and he was an amazing boxer. I remember seeing him because he was just pretty much the same age as me, and I wanted to just continue in boxing, and it led me to go to Olympics, and then on to my professional career.
Now, you also have an older brother, Sean. Was it just you and Sean, or anybody else practice boxing with your dad?
Yes, it was myself, my two brothers, Charles and Sean, and also my cousin Egerton, who went to the Olympics and represented Guyana. Represented Canada and won the silver medal in 1988.
That's right. That's right. The infamous year, the infamous '88 squad. Yeah,
Yes. Along with Lennox Lewis winning the gold medal.
yeah.
Yeah.
We've done. I've talked about that show. I've talked about that Olympic Games so much in depth. I talked about the robberies, the monolithic robberies that has made those games iconic through history. Like outside of 2016, there hasn't been another games so littered with robberies. Jamie Pegadam being a story I still can't wrap my head around.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot the American that lost to the Korean. Knocks out the Korean. Gets they wake him up 3 hours later. Made them fight again.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, those are quite the icon. Well, that whole games is just a freak show. Ben Johnson. I was in track back in those days, so the whole Ben thing was my thing. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, but now Sean and Charles, did they go on to a pro career or anything like that?
Charles never wanted to box. He did everything outside of boxing to make sure that he stayed away from boxing. So he did everything possible to stay away from boxing. But you know what? When my father would teach us, and this could be at any time, anywhere, any place. So we would be in the backyard of our house at 475 Bramley Road in Brampton. and my father would just would set up a lesson, and we would just be training outside in the park. And the one thing that I always remember is, like, I always used to be embarrassed, or wondering what my friends would think of me, like, just training outside. And after a while, because we used to do it so often, I remember my friends wanted to come in and start training with us at the same time. So in a sense, it felt, it was embarrassing, but it actually helped grow me to become who I am. Because you know what, sometimes you got to face a little bit of embarrassment, or a little bit of discomfort, in order to succeed in life anyway, because nothing's ever easy, right?
By all means, it's character building. This is another episode, another step pushing you
That's
forward. Right? No, I totally get that. I totally get
Mhm.
that. And I could totally see. I know if I would have found it I'd have been so self-conscious back in those days too. That, yeah, if my friends saw me training in the park, yeah, it would have been seen as a little bit awkward. But boxing is cool. Everybody thinks boxing is cool. They may think
Mhm.
it's savage, but no one says that you're odd for boxing. Well, I
Mhm.
guess unless you're like shadow boxing in the middle of downtown Toronto. Yeah.
Well, that's one of the things that we used to do. It used to be, like I said, anywhere, anytime. And I'll tell you a story too. Another thing was, I remember walking in the mall with a couple of my friends, and I'll run into my cousin Egerton or Chris, because we all box. It's a boxing family. So whether it's Egerton or it's Chris, and they'll say, "Oh, you know what, Troy, I want you to practice this. I want you to try this." And in the middle of the mall, we would be throwing punches. So that's what I'm saying. When you have a boxing family around you, it's like it's always boxing. It's always boxing. It doesn't matter what time it is, where it is. We're gonna throw down. We're gonna show each other something, a different kind of move, how to block a punch, how to slip a punch, something. So
That's amazing.
that's why I said, like, being a young kid at about 7, 11, up in boxing. Sometimes it could be a little bit embarrassing, but at the same time, like, it helped shape me. It helped me. So it was actually pretty good. Looking back at it, yes, I was embarrassed at that time.
Of course you were. Of course you were. Oh God. How were the
You just want to go in the mall and just walk around, do a little shopping, window shopping. If I run into one of my family members, next, I'm throwing punches in the air. We're shadow boxing in the mall.
You're just lucky mall security didn't come for you.
They maybe have hired one of us. We might have had a job.
Oh, that's great. How were the '96 Olympic Games? How did that change you?
96 Olympic Games, because I've never went to the Olympics before, and that was one of the my dreams, that I wanted to go to the
Yeah.
Olympics. After seeing my cousin Egerton go to the Olympics in 1988, win a silver medal for Canada. Lennox Lewis win a gold medal. It was one of my dreams to Olympics. Also closer, Chris Johnson winning a bronze medal in 1992 Olympics, and training
Yep.
alongside with Chris. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely, it was one of my highlights of my life, because of the main thing, that when I actually realized that I was actually going to the Olympics, was when walked into the stadium. The opening ceremony was just one of those things, like lights, cameras, action, and it's like just the overwhelming feeling that you get, because there's so many people in the audience just looking at I say me, looking at me. Meanwhile, there's thousands of other athletes there that they're gonna cheer on, but I'm just here thinking that they're here to see me fight, and
That's,
it was just an overwhelming feeling.
that's amazing. That's amazing. Um, yeah. Does that did that feeling replicate ever again in your boxing career? Obviously, again, you went to the Olympics in 2000, but I'm talking like even when you had your first pro fight, did you feel the same energy? All eyes on you?
You know what? It was more. I don't think I felt that feeling again of because, like I said, the Olympics was the first one that I went to in '96, and it was always my dream to go to the Olympics to
Yeah.
win a gold medal. I didn't win the gold medal. I got to the quarterfinals fighting for a bronze medal against Vasily Girov.
Oh,
I lost to Girov when I was fighting for that bronze medal. He ended up winning the tournament, and he ended up winning the gold medal, and also he won the most outstanding boxer of the
yeah.
tournament. So
Wow.
and then I had a chance to go back home, but like I said, it was one of those feelings that I had. It was just like, I mean, it was, I don't think I got that feeling again. Came close, but never got it again
Fair enough.
because it was my dream to go to Olympics.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And then traveling as much as you did and whatnot. Yeah, boxing has treated you very well.
It has. The traveling with the team, there's nothing else like it. Um, at that time we were traveling pretty much every month, every other month. We're going to another country and we're
Wow.
fighting representing Canada. Majority of the time coming home with a medal of some sort, whether it's bronze, silver, or gold, coming home with some sort of medal just to say that, I put in all this hard work and I was able to represent my country, and I was able to come back with a medal to represent my country.
That's amazing.
Hmm.
That's amazing. 2000, you come back from the Olympics, you make the decision to turn pro.
Hmm.
How did that go for you?
I made the decision. I said, regardless of whatever happens in the 2000 Olympics in Sydney, Australia, I said, no matter what happens in these Olympics, there was high hopes. I had high expectations of winning a gold medal. I never try to think of anything else except of just winning a gold medal.
Yeah.
So um, I got a bye into the quarterfinals.
Okay.
Um, and so I had my bye, and I lost to I lost my fight. I
Nigerian.
should have,
Yeah.
because the referee stopped the fight. I got a flush knockdown, and it happens in boxing all the time.
Yeah.
And I got a flush knockdown. I got back up. When I got back up to my feet, the referee did not even count, and he just stopped the fight. When
Wow.
I was on my way to win a gold medal, and it just cut my career short in the Olympics of my dream of my second Olympics, coming home
That-
with a medal or some sort of gold medal, silver medal, bronze medal, whatever.
Man, that's hard.
Yeah,
That's hard. And you know, it meant nothing to them. Like,
it meant nothing to them. No, it didn't. No, it
it
didn't.
meant
It
nothing
didn't
to
mean
them.
nothing to them. And that's the unfortunate part, because here, like, yes, not that the medal will make me. It's just that the medal would carve a better path to onward to in my professional career.
By all means, but I wouldn't say it wouldn't make you as much as it's quite the accomplishment. You have
That's
heart
it.
from the Olympic Games.
Yes.
We
No,
both,
definitely.
yeah, that's something for the resume for sure. No, man, that's nothing shy of criminal to actually deprive somebody of that too.
Hmm. Hmm.
You then you then went on pro, turned
Yeah.
pro, and you had a great deal of success. But tell me about the contender.
Okay. Well, my professional career was, let me see. Let me my professional career was up and down. The one thing that I never thought would hinder me as much as it did was the fact that I went to two Olympics.
Yep.
I went to 2 Olympics, and the problem with me going to 2 Olympics meant if I can qualify for the first one, which was in '96, and then qualify for the second Olympics in 2000, that means that I must be a phenomenal fighter. And when it came time to getting opponents for me to fight, the company that I was with was the Duvis promotion, and it just cost them a lot more money to get fighters for me to get in the ring with.
Yeah.
So the start to my career was in the ring because of 2 Olympics. Because now instead of just getting a regular fighter who would help build up my record and and you know, like in a professional boxing, it's about building up your record to get to, and you have certain fighters that you know, as you start, say the first 5 fights is pretty much gimme fights.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you get your experience of fighting in front of an audience with no headgear on and no shirt on.
Yeah.
And these opponents will not cost, like, I mean, say opponent will cost you instead of paying just pay $1,000 to get a fighter so you can get a win on your record. These opponents will be costing the promoters $5,000 because the guy that I'm fighting would say, listen, I'm if I'm going to take a loss, or if I'm in there possibly to take a loss, pay for it.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it was costing the promoters a lot more money than they had expected when they had signed.
See,
and then I wasn't a household name because I signed over in the States with the Duva promotions, so they were paying a lot of money out of their pockets.
I totally get that. And at the end of the day, like, you couldn't do the same thing here, like, because the climate here with the athletic commissioner of the day didn't make it favorable or even palatable for promoters to actually want to do business in Ontario. So you had to go elsewhere.
Well, that's exactly the reason why I had to sign outside of Canada, because we didn't have enough promoters that was putting on fights. I would have loved to be a household name here in Canada. I would love to be fought a lot more times in Ontario, because it would have helped build my name, help build my my fan base. But I had to be a road warrior. I was fighting all over the world, just like an amateur.
Yeah.
But I was building my name. I can tell you, my name is probably bigger and more in the States or more in Montreal, Quebec, than it is in Ontario.
Yeah, I know that well. Yep. I tell stories about me the first time I won the Canadian title and how I was signing autographs in Quebec because the fight was in Quebec.
Yeah.
Signing autographs, it took me 45 minutes to walk into the ring because so many people, one, knew me. I don't speak French. People who didn't speak English are sitting there clamoring around me, like wanting to take pictures, introducing me to their family and whatnot. 45 minutes to get into the ring. I mean, into the change room. Once I won the fight, another 45 minutes to get from the ring to the change room. It was insane. But then the next day I drove home. I was just another average cat. I sat down. I remember driving into my condo.
Yeah.
Dumping my bag, went down to my local watering hole, sat there. I don't do much drinking or anything like that, so I ordered a pint, sat beside a person, sat there for about 2 hours, and then on CP24, on the ticker tape, it said, Bola Ray has just won the Canadian heavyweight title. So I nudged the guy, and I pointed. And that was the first person in Ontario to say anything to me about winning the Canadian title.
Wow.
So that's this story resonates so much with so many fighters of our time, you know, and it's unfortunate, but
exactly.
At least today we have a far better athletic commissioner in place who is making it attractive. You might want to come out of retirement. just just say it.
You know what? I've thought about it because the money right now is much better than it was back then. So
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
I know I still got. In fact, I still got a little bit in me. The flame is still the flame is still lit. So
Yeah.
definitely, I could probably throw a few punches and get some guys out of there. I don't know about the top dog, but I definitely could hold my own with them.
There you go. There you go. Now, but now your boxing career is all over with from the competitor side.
Mm-hmm.
But now you're coaching, and you're coaching a friend.
I'm coaching a friend, someone that has looked up to me as a fighter. His name's Scal. He's a light heavyweight, the same weight class where I used to be when I was amateur and part of my pro career. And I remember John as a young, and he was starting out, and I think we were going to Asker at the time for the Francophone games. And I remember seeing him in sparring camp in training camp with us down in Sudbury. And I remember one time he was sparring. He was sparring with I think it was who was it? It was Jeremy Malter and it was Scotty McIntosh. And he was sparring with these guys, and these guys were going hard on him. And he was I think he was about 15 years old, 16 years old, somewhere around there. And they were going hard on him, and each time they were taking turns, So it was and I was like, all right, give the man the break or whatever. But we speak about that story all the time when we're in camp. And he said, you know what, just because of those two guys, they're the ones who helped groom me and I knew exactly what position I didn't want to be in again. And if I was ever in that position, that I would be able to fight my way out of it. And that's exactly what he did. And I think it was a year or 2 years later after that, he fought against Jeremy Malter for the Canadian Championships, and he beat him.
Oh wow!
He beat him. He actually dropped him, I think, in the rounds. Yeah, so it was good to see him come up. And I remember at that time I had my Rossware gear, and I went down. I think it was in Sarnia, somewhere around there, and I went down to the show. I remember John come running up to me and say, Troy, check it out. I just beat Jeremy Malter. I was like, wow. There back then.
Yes, he was.
Yeah, he was. I was on the Canadian team for a good little while.
Yeah. Wow. He beat Jeremy.
Yeah, he beat Jeremy. He beat Jeremy to get himself on the Canadian team.
Wow. Good for him.
Yeah, I think that was the year that I turned. Yeah, he beat Jeremy Malter to get himself on the Canadian team.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and well now, and I remember John fighting. Like I watched him fight a few times as a pro. I can't say a few times. I watched him fight a lot of times as a pro. I love the way he started off in Montreal. He was fighting pretty much. He was moving really fast because he was able to get fights, and they were promoting him really well. Like I said, in Montreal, Quebec is it's a fight town. No matter what sport you're in, whether it's hockey, boxing, kickboxing, whatever, it just seems like the fans always seem to support you. It didn't matter what it was.
By all means.
Yeah. So and he had a lot of support, and he built his name. At the end of the day, it's all about being a character and being able to build your name and being able to sell yourself.
He did that,
and that's definitely one of the things that he has, that he can his charisma that he has. He's able to sell himself, whether you like him or you don't like him. You want to see him box.
Oh,
It's like one of those things with Muhammad Ali. You decide that you want to see him get beat up or you want to see him beat somebody else. So
yeah. You will. Now, you guys, you are training him like actually. Well, you're assistant coach in his camp.
yes.
How's the dynamic? How's that going?
The camp is really good. Like the our trainers that we're all together. It's more like a family. He's got Stefan LaRouge, who is the #1 trainer. He's
Yeah.
got me, who's the second trainer. And then he has Angel, who's a strength and conditioning coach, and he has Pierre Bouchard, who is a cut man, and then he has Carl Handy inside of the ring as well. So he's got about five people that 5 guys that has helped maintain him. Boxing is like my cousin Chris always says it's like you're a souped up car ready to go. So we're the guys in the cockpit making sure that he's ready.
Yeah.
You know what? Ray? I never expected to be a coach. I always thought I would be a promoter of some sort. I never really thought about myself being a coach, but I've always been teaching. So if I would go down to the gym and I would see someone, see a young kid throwing punches, I would help start correcting them and showing them how to throw the punches and stuff like that. But I've never really, because I've always thought about it as just giving back.
How you liking it?
I'm enjoying it. But as much as I coach, it's like I'm thinking, okay, if you don't do this right, I'm gonna go in the ring and I'm gonna show you how to do it right. You know what I mean? It's always that thing is that, okay, because I can do it myself, I know exactly what I want to see. I'm gonna go in the ring and I'm gonna show you exactly how to do it.
Gotcha.
But you know what? It's more now just taking time and letting the person adjust to what I am saying and making sure that they understand it. So slow it down a little bit and just make sure that he understands. And if he doesn't understand, then we do it over and over and over again until he gets it in his head.
That's coaching. That's coaching.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. Well, how would you like to see boxing evolve? Pro boxing, amateur boxing.
Always said, like I want to see it evolve in Ontario. I've always said that I want to see the same method that they use in Montreal. Like, there's they have the blueprints, the same kind of they highlight their fighters. I want to see it evolve more in Ontario than worrying about it around the world, because they have the TV to carry it, to make it be mainstream. But I want to see it evolve in my hometown in Canada, in Ontario, to be bigger.
I see that.
And I believe if they follow the same steps as in Montreal as they do, like, I mean, they put the fighters on buses, they drive them around, they're all over the place, they're being seen. So it makes it seem like Montreal is a small place, Quebec's a small place. But yet, if you consistently keep seeing these guys on buses, on billboards, you think it's like they're bigger than life itself.
They're household names. Like the story I was saying about when I went to Quebec, the Quebec people knew who I was before I even got there.
Before you got there, exactly. They know who you're fighting. Exactly.
It's an educated populace.
We're all promoted. Yeah, it all comes from their promotion, and at the end of the day, they look at it as a business, and not a part-time gig.
Exactly. That's Ontario for you, though. It's changing. It's changing with this new commissioner, Luke. He's on to big things. He's doing some great things for the sport. I see it from the professional ranks, and I think everything trickles down from the professional ranks to the amateurs and whatnot, and to the populace. So give it a couple of years. Let's see where we're at.
Yeah, like I said, for me, I've never met Luke. The only one I know is Kanahashi, and Uh, I can't say too much about Ken because he's one of the reasons why I didn't end up fighting in Canada as much as I wanted to fight in Canada.
I still remember you were supposed to fight. Who was the fighter you were supposed to fight for the Canadian title? And Ken didn't prove it. He didn't prove you to fight the Canadian champion.
Yeah, the Canadian champion, right? I think it was Ryan Henney. I think it was.
Yeah, he didn't approve you to fight the Canadian champion for his title because you were too good for him. And I'm like, how does that make any sense? But it was that kind of nonsense that we were subjected to.
You know what? I have no idea. I never understood this, but I never knew I wasn't going to be able to fight. We were promoting this fight, and to find out I wasn't even able to fight for the Canadian title. Why wasn't I able to fight for the Canadian title? For some reason, I got that that I was too good for the opponent with the title.
With the title.
At that time, I didn't have the title. I would have been fighting for the second Canadian title of my career, but I wasn't able to fight for it because I was too good for the opponent. So I never understood this, but I did not end up fighting.
Wow. That doesn't make a lick of sense.
It didn't make sense whatsoever.
But you know, again, let's just be grateful that he's no longer affiliated with the sport. And Luke is he's pro boxing. He's pro boxing. So,
well, that's exactly what we need in the sport. Like I said, I love to see Ontario boxing like emerge, go to another level.
Yeah.
We need a lot more promoters that's on random putting on fight cards pretty much every month, every other month. So at least it builds up the amateur fighters and the professional fighters, the amateur fighters here that want to turn pro. They have a platform to box.
They have somewhere to go. They have something to strive for.
Instead of looking for a deal outside of the country.
Precisely. I toss around this little tidbit of fact. In 2006, the province of Quebec, I heard, had held 50 professional shows in 2006 between 6 promoters. 50 in 1 year. 33 of them was done by Group Yvon Michel.
Wow.
And in 2006, Ontario, which is a bigger province, more populous province than Quebec, held 3.
Held 3 fights.
Held 3 fights.
As a fighter coming up in the sport, 3 fight cards in 1 year. That's
sad.
That's unheard of. It's like you're not injured because usually if you have about 10 fights and under, you want to be moving as fast as possible.
Precisely.
And
3 fights.
3 fights in a year is not going to help move you.
So
or if you're all the way up in the 20s or say 15 and up, then because you're fighting longer rounds and you're fighting better opponents.
But that's if you're fighting all 3 shows.
Yeah,
that's right. Promoters, you know. So you may be lucky to get one.
Yeah, you may be lucky to get on one of the cards. Exactly.
Yeah. No, man. But Troy.
Yes.
I appreciate you coming on board. I have a couple of seconds. We got to wrap things up here. But
okay.
Thanks again for coming on board. I would love for you to come back again. I want to talk to you about a lot of things. We still didn't touch on much. We still talking about your acting career and all sorts of business, getting all up into your business.
Well, just to let you know, I'm coaching John Pascal, but also I run my own Montessori school, Mount Pleasant Montessori in Brampton. We got a couple fighters coming up. I'm just joking. We got some young kids there, and we're just just educating them. It's their first place of learning, and that's what it's all about.
That's amazing.
Educating the kids on a different level.
It's all about tomorrow, man. Prepping,
Exactly.
prepping
Living for the kids of the future.
Yep. Wow.
But for me, I was very happy, and I love the fact that you're putting it together and you're promoting the show as much as possible, and it's a wonderful show. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you, folks. If you like this episode, please smash the like button and subscribe. It's your boy Bola, and that's the scoop. Have a good night, folks.